Welcome. And you're going to like today's topic. If you're getting ready for a Disney cruise and you're starting to think about the online check in, then this video is for you. When we booked our first Disney cruise to celebrate our 50th anniversary, we were excited. But the online check in part, that was something I hadn't wrapped my head around yet. I didn't even think about it until the next morning after they opened the night before. And I remember stopping for a second and thinking, did I miss something? Was I supposed to be rushing through this? But you know something? I wasn't overly worried because we booked Disney transportation. Yeah, so that morning I logged into my account. I uploaded what they asked for, filled in all the blanks, took a deep breath, hit that button, and we were good. Boom, it popped up. Group 4, 11 o'clock arrival time. Loved it because, we got to get on the ship early. But at the time, I didn't really understand what mattered or why it mattered. But by our second cruise, it felt completely different. Not because we changed anything or Disney changed anything, but because we understood the process better. Now, we're sailing out of Galveston this time, and instead of booking a transportation, we're driving. But being a Silver cast member this time helped. But more importantly, we understood the process is what made the difference. And that's when things started to click. Online check-in is just a process, and like most Disney things, it makes a lot of sense once you see it laid out. Now let's walk through this first part together. When I first took that first Disney cruise, I already had a passport. And the one thing I see that comes up again and again is people not realizing their passport is expired or about to expire. That's why the first thing I look at is the expiration date. But ours don't expire into 2033, so we're good for a number of years. Now, Disney does point out that some countries may require you to have a passport valid up to 6 months after your cruise ends. Now, you'll hear plenty of stories from people who cruise with less time than that, and they were just fine, especially if it's in the Caribbean. It's a closed loop. You leave the United States, you come back, and you're good. And there's a lot of times that's true. But because the rules can change from country or by country and situation, Disney guidance is really about to avoid surprises. So the safest move is to make sure you check your expiration date early and to make sure it works for that cruise itinerary. That way you're not guessing and you're not stressed at the last minute. Now, if somebody in your group doesn't have a passport, that's okay. Disney will accept original birth certificate instead. For adults, you're also going to need that government issue ID. For kids, it's usually just a birth certificate. Now, either option will work. You just want to make sure that you got the right documents before the check-in day. Now, let me get into something. If you ever missed a ship in a foreign port, that situation can be handled with a birth certificate. It can be, but it's more complicated, it's slower, and more stressful than if you have a passport. Now, cruising with a birth certificate is perfectly fine. Disney allows it. But if something unexpectedly happened outside the US, having a passport will make things a lot easier. You don't need a passport until you really need a passport. Now, when it comes time to upload the documents, the key is knowing which one you're using before the online check-in opens. and giving yourself enough time to either get a passport or locate your original birth certificate. When it came time for us to upload these documents, I like to share what I did, not because it's the only way, but because it made the process for us easier. You can take a clear photo of each passport, birth certificate right on your phone, along with that government ID for adults. Disney isn't looking for perfection, when taking these photos. They're just looking for information that's readable. Now, a couple of things I like to give that's going to help. Good lighting, no glare, especially on the passports. They have a glare. They're gonna deny it. Everything's visible. That's it. Now, another thing that helped keep the process smooth for me anyway was naming the files clearly ahead of time. So instead of leaving them like IMG 4229 or scan 002, I use simple names like my name, Chuck, passport, my guest name, passport, or I have the kid's name, birth certificate, or headshot. So I knew which file to grab for which person when I'm uploading it on their apps, on their computer site, on their site. So I'm not guessing. I'm not clicking the wrong file. I just wanted to upload the correct files and move on. Now, it does take a little time to put everything together ahead of check-in. Not because it's hard, but there's a few pieces involved. By the time you get it ready, this helps check-in feel calm instead of rushed. That's also why we put together a simple online check-in guide for ourselves. Straightforward checklist that keeps everything in place. Once the birth certificates and passports and ID are together, the next thing we do, Disney will ask for is the headshots for each person in your party. Now, when I first heard headshots, eyebrows raised, I picture something formal. I picture something like a passport photo or professional studio setup. And that's not what Disney is asking for. They're asking for is just so the crew can recognize the onboard guests. Now, here's what worked for me, and we'll keep it simple. Headshots, shoulder up, face clearly visible, no hats, no glasses. That includes your sunglasses. We stood by a light color wall. This is what we did. No special backgrounds, no professional camera. We just took a clear photo with our phone. Now, one more important thing. You can't use the photo from your passport. Disney wants a current photo of you. Once the headshots are done, you knocked out another big piece of that puzzle, of that online check-in. Now, one thing that helped us stay organized, we did use a simple check-in list. Nothing fancy. Everything was ready ahead of time. And if this sounds helpful, what I'm going to do is put a link in the description below so you can download this form. It's in my Google Docs. All you do is download it. And we call it, I think it's the online check-in prep guide or prep list, I think is what I called it. So if you got a helpful tip and something that worked for you, drop it in the comments below. It helps everyone. And if this is the kind of calm or practical information that's helpful for you, you can always welcome to hit, see that subscribe button right there on the side? Yes, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Until then, I want y'all to have a great day.